Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, on today's episode, we are breaking down maybe the biggest battle for the CyHawk Trophy of all time. We got two top 10 teams here, Iowa at Iowa State. GameDay is going to be there again. But let's start our discussion with week one, because both of these teams had very different types of games in week one. What did each team's week one tell us about them? Ryan, why don't you get us started with Iowa's win over Indiana?
I think it just tells you that Iowa is just same old Iowa, man. Their defense is still really good. They're going to make sure that they'll take advantage of your mistakes, just the patented Iowa style. I thought with their defensive front losses, they might have a little hiccup there, but I mean, they exposed an Indiana team and offense that was supposed to be pretty solid. So, but it also kind of tells us, hey, the offense still has some concerns too, right? Petras didn't have a great game. The running back was pretty solid, but honestly, it just tells us more of the same from Iowa here. If you make mistakes, they're going to beat you, and they'll beat you bad.
That's very true, because Iowa's defense is so strong, they cannot be taken lightly. And they took away both the passing and rushing attack of Indiana. And then on the offensive side, you hit it. Like Spencer Petras didn't have to do a whole lot. We still don't really know how good he can be. I think Iowa State's going to make a point to make him beat them, but more often than not, they don't need him to, because that defense and the run game with Tyler Goodson is so strong that he can just sit back and let the pieces fall.
Yeah, big 34-6 win for Iowa. So Iowa State won 16-10 over Northern Iowa. Not an impressive game at all, but I honestly just don't think this tells us much at all, because I feel like we know who this Iowa State team is. We saw them last year. They bring pretty much everybody back. They have a very good defense. We already knew that. And their offense is solid, but it's not dominant. It's not super explosive always, so it's prone to a game like it just had against Northern Iowa. Especially they were without Charlie Kohler, maybe their best weapon at tight end. Well, I guess Breece Hall you'd call their best weapon, but Charlie Kohler, no slouch. So, and this is just what Iowa State does. They have bad week one games. They lost to Northern Iowa a few years ago in triple overtime. Last year they lost at home to Louisiana. I just am not too concerned about it.
I'm in the same boat. It just doesn't tell us that much. It tells us, okay, Iowa State, week one again. They're just, I don't know, whatever it is, they got to get out of that funk. But we know what Iowa State is. We've seen like all of these players. There's no like mystery things like it's like, oh, maybe they're coming into the year. It's like, oh, this isn't gonna be so much we don't know. We know what they can do. We've seen these guys. I have no worries that they're gonna have a great year overall. No reason to freak out. I wish they would have been a little more explosive against Northern Iowa, but sure. Hey, without Charlie Kohler, I can excuse it a little bit, and they'll be just fine.
All right, let's get to our against the spread pick for this game. So Iowa State is favored by 4 at home. Trey, what do you think? We got GameDay there, of course. I don't know if we brought that up yet.
Yeah, everything about last week's results kind of makes you want to take Iowa, but I'm going to be stubborn, take the stance of not overreacting. I'm going to take the Cyclones. They were probably being a little bit vanilla last week, and I think that's why the score maybe was a little bit closer than they had wanted. But they're obviously going to be up for this one, arguably the biggest CyHawk game ever, like you touched on in the opening, Michael. Ames is going to be rocking. They're going to force Petras to beat them with his arm, I think.
Yeah, I think this game will likely be a struggle offensively for both teams with the way these two defenses are, but I just see more potential in Iowa State's offense. And I mean, we've seen it last year. So Breece Hall was a Heisman contender. Brock Purdy may not be great, but he's solid. They have some solid options in the receiving core, especially with Charlie Kohler likely being back this game. And with Iowa, Spencer Petras was inefficient last year. There was talk that he has greatly improved coming into this season, and maybe that's true. He didn't, show a whole lot against Indiana. He did have some receivers drop passes, so that's a concern too, because he lost his 2 best receivers from last year. So just more confidence in the Iowa State offense. That's why I'm laying the points with them.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat there, Mike. Iowa State, I just trust them a little bit more. Brock Purdy, I also think he might be able to make a few plays with his legs. He's not necessarily a true dual threat, but he can definitely improvise pretty well. So I think that could be a factor in this game when the defenses are so good that you're going to have to get creative to try to move the ball a little bit. And I think Brock Purdy's shown he can do that at least a little bit better than Spencer Petras. So I'm trusting the Hawkeyes here. They're due. They've lost 5 in a row. To get it done, Cyclones. They can do it.
The last couple have been very, very close. So
I know.
This looking like their best shot. So that'll do it for this episode of the College Football Bros. Be sure also to check out our episode previewing Oregon at Ohio State and subscribe to our podcast. We break down all the big games every week. So links to that are in the description below. And we will see you next time. Enjoy the game.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.